Got a lot of abuse on Twitter this week. It's been especially spiky.
Really? I think I've noticed you've been a bit spiky yourself, but I mean, I think you've been plucky with it, if I'm honest. Let's dive into this. Welcome, patrons, new patrons as well. I think we're on 370 odd patrons now. I want 500. I've decided. It's nice to have a target. I want 500 patrons. So
we've gone
if you
from
lot could
being
hurry up.
surprised. We've gone from being surprised and really, kind of humbled by the fact that so many people have become patrons.
I mean,
to now demanding.
I am humbled. Wow, I can't believe it's happening, but I want more, and I want more quickly. No, not more quickly. I'm just saying. All I'm saying is the same party line as previously. Hurry up. If we get to 500, I won't bring it up anymore. There you go.
But we may change our mind on that as well. Nothing is set in stone in Slugville.
But I mean, how are we supposed to find that out if we don't get there? So that's what. Let's just get this done. Become a moisty. Whoever becomes the 500th moisty, we will interview them on the pod. We will do something that doesn't really take too much effort.
You can come to the pod. You can come on the pod for 10 minutes if you like.
There you go. And spout whatever you want. Of course, this is James and Flav for now podcast. We're actually going to be doing the mailbag straight after this podcast. So make sure you stick around. The people that are in the chat right now who are all saying one phrase and one phrase only. We can only move forwards. That said, this is dangerous, Flav. I'm going to go straight to it. And I've been... We'll talk about. I want to talk about the footy, but we're doing this on a Wednesday, and you've got a game. I've got a game tonight. Lots of football happening, so we will kind of look a bit further forward to Liverpool title race.
I've seen your video. Don't worry about it. We can discuss it. I've seen your stupid video.
My stupid video. Oh, that's
your stupid video. Yes, you've seen your stupid video about
stupid video. 44,000 views in one day. Less than one day. Doesn't sound stupid to me. But what?
That's exactly what it is. You're slug farming again. You're slug farming. I can see you, Jim. I can see you, Jim.
Slug's a different term to what it used to be now, Flav. Do you know what though? There are could people ask about YouTube? How do you do it well? What you do is you talk about something unquantifiable and really broad, and you bring in as many people as possible. That's what you do. That's what you do, guys.
But that's not gaming the system. That's genuinely what people are interested in. They don't. It's talking about some future where something is definite, where it's impossible to predict. Really,
but I don't think I said that in the video, did I?
I don't think you did. But I'm just saying that you don't have to be right when given an opinion if the opinion is what people want to hear.
Right. I think. Look. With my opinions recently, you've probably dodged a bullet, Flav. I'll be honest. I have an odd power at the moment. And then it's incredibly disturbing to me, but tis what it is.
Can I ask you this? Actually, no, I'll reserve this question for when we actually talk about how you've put Arsenal at fourth. We'll ask that. So, but yeah, in terms of moving forward, this of course is a reference to the fact that slugs can only move forward and cannot go backwards.
Exactly. And once you become a purely moist slug, you'll move forward more quickly due to the lubrication, obviously.
There's so much lubrication everywhere.
Exactly. If you are new to the podcast, you're probably about to leave, so I'll see you later. Anyway, on Twitter, I saw this from Lenny, who I like Lenny's tweets a lot of the time. This is an interesting one. I just want to get your reaction to it. Lenny says, "Could I be bold?" And it is bold. We must say that. Could I be bold as to suggest we can only move forwards be changed to the less clunky only forwards? Same message with an air of mystery when spoken in the wild, like all good cultish utterances. Thoughts on that?
I like it. I do like it. I think the more concise a message, the better. And then he's got some balls on him, we've got to say. But it does say, "Can I be bold?" So you're sort of aware of this.
There's a class to that phrase of saying, "Can I be bold?" as well.
Can I be bold? It's not like I'm talking to you. I understand.
Yeah. It's a bit like, "Can I shock you?" That's what I was thinking. I adore film.
But I do like it. But the thing is, it's already there. It's hard. It's hard to change something that's already there. So I think both things I'd accept if someone said them.
I think
YouTube comments.
let history guide you. Let's not change things until they're incredibly uncomfortable for everyone, and then go on and then deal with the backlash after that, whilst spending a long time just sticking with the same roots that we've got. So sorry, Lenny, but no, we can only move forwards. That
is what it is. It might not be the best, but it is what we've got.
It's all we've got. And it's I've forgotten what it was in Latin, but I think it's tentum progendi or something like that. You told me it, didn't you? Where is it?
Yeah, it does. It's not a word for. I can't believe
tantum progredi.
Yeah,
is our Latin slogan now, which is glorious.
Of course, it's Latin, so it's like it's not specific. It's not word for word verbatim.
Yeah,
it's broad.
Lots to get through. I've got a lot of good comments from last week. We've got some really solid week chat and some sort of broader footballing questions that need to be answered. We've not got footballers' wangs, but we've got something else that we kind of need to unpack. A solid Samism. What else? We've got some new rules, maybe. Week chat, and there was something else. Unwritten rules. Got some unwritten rules. And another Chelsea fan trying to change our mind on the first and only unwritten rule, which... Nice try, but we'll come to that all in good time. Just wanted to read this out. Jason, dropped my breakfast, so I missed a bit of the pod, and I won't be rewinding to see it. # we can only move forward. Very good. Quotes of the week last week. Last week we found out what really happened in the Lab Bible video between Flav and Ty. Quotes of the week. King Leonidas the First. Thank you, sir, for joining us with the podcast. If you believe in jinxes, you're a dick.
Do I remember saying that something was conclusive?
It's a fair point. I mean, I'm trying to stick with that road, but I could really use a win, guys. Please,
you drew against Hull, didn't you?
Oh, mate, and it's getting so tight now. It's unbearable.
You've got Nottingham Forest coming up your ass.
Well, they drew, so there's sort of a gentle dribble.
And Middlesbrough. You've got Middlesbrough coming up your ass as well.
Yeah. Stop saying that.
Yeah, no, they're coming up your ass. They come up.
I mean, not that there's anything wrong with people coming up my ass, but no one's coming up my ass.
What are you talking about? I don't understand.
I don't know. That gets clipped up, doesn't it? And put on Twitter.
Huddersfield's coming up your ass.
Yeah, everyone's. They're in a queue.
Even Luton Town are coming up QPR's ass. That's unreal.
Dear. It's
what are you going to do, Jim? What's happening here? Because this is mate. This is every team has a little patch.
That's what we're going through
in the season. Yeah. You're going through the doldrums, mate. You just got to bob around and get out of it. Eventually, you'll come out of it. You'll go on a late charge.
Yeah, I could do with it not being as tight as that. I really could. Join, you want that, but you want some buffer, and it's actually. Do you know what? I'd rather have one. If I could give a point back, and have never been in fourth, and just be sixth. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd rather be on the charge than the other way around. That's what's really like making me feel incredibly uncomfortable, and it's something that I'm not used to at all. Like, it's all there to be lost. Can you relate to that? Is there any way you could relate to that?
I can relate to that. I can relate to it. The unfortunate thing that you can't relate to yet, but you hopefully won't have to at the end, is being in that position of, oh God, we can do this. We can do this. And then it not happening. So that's especially depressing. But hopefully that won't come to you, Jim.
I've not been like this in a long time. Really, really long time. I actually thought these days had gone. I thought I'd kind of got past these kind of feelings where you're like, because I'm not one for the detail a lot of the time, as you know. I like to just get it done. And fixtures and things like that, sometimes I'll be like, oh, we're playing tonight. Yeah, we're playing tonight. All right, okay, I'm on my way. Like, but I'm on it with all our games now, and I'm just like, just please win. Please win. We've got Blackpool today at home. And I'm just hanging there, lads. I know you get tensing up a bit, boys. And a couple of people in the comments going, it's not a jinx. The players have seen your video and it's affecting them. And I went, don't give me that shit. Like, come on. Like, do you really think they're going, we've got to do this for James? They don't care. They want Premier League money. That's what they're after. And I'm all for it. But yeah, we could do with a victory. It's such a tough league, mate. It's mad. It is mad.
I can't actually see the comments. I've got the link.
Don't worry.
You sent it.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, look, it's a difficult situation because the expectation level is there, and that changes the dynamic of how you follow and enjoy your football club, and it's not fair, but it's part of football, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. What I would like to do is quickly reframe and suggest that us and Huddersfield Town are the huge underdogs in all of this. Middlesbrough spent big money. Blackburn Rovers, okay, they can be in there too. But Sheffield United, go away. Nottingham Forest, please go away. And West Brom in 11th. I saw a great tweet. Oh, no, I think it was on the Discord. You can't see it there. But they basically... Someone posted like one green block and then a load of red blocks and some yellow blocks, and they went, "This isn't a Wordle, this is West Brom's form." But that was really, really good. Down in 11th, dear poor West Brom Bob. Can't have it all, son. Can't have it all. How do you feel? Yeah. Oh, sorry. Quotes of the week. Let's get this on. King Leonidas. If you believe Jinx, we've done that. Jack Ward. Apparently, I said Ty is basically Beyonce last week. Didn't realise that. Comments of the week. This is nice. OUFC 90. I love how this podcast signifies the end of the working week for me. I'm commenting now, but I will watch Friday lunchtime while tucking into the finest sandwiches Tesco has to offer. I just can't wait. I do feel like this is, regardless of what day we put this out, this is a Friday pod.
Yeah.
You notice it with the views as well. Like the views will be quite bad and then sort of teeter up the next day. It's interesting.
How many sandwiches is he eating? I'm going to think he eats 3 each sandwiches.
I don't trust people who don't buy triples when it comes to sandwiches.
You always go for a triple?
Always go for it. I just feel like you're wasting your... Like, what, you've not got the appetite. You've not got the appetite to have... mate, I've had a double... I've had a 4 before. Have you had
a double triple?
If you're hungover... Like maybe like one of those ham and cheese ones. I might just like, I don't know, you could double that up. If you're trying to like have less guilt when you're doing a double, I go for the prawn mayonnaise one. And I go, well, that's healthy, innit? Because I've seen that's got a few less calories on the box. So that's my double and it's safe.
Can I ask what people do food-wise when you go to football? Because it's kind of... It's a write-off, isn't it, for everybody? You realise if you're going to football, you're not only drinking shit beer generally, because the pubs around football stadiums offer awful beer. You're drinking, you're going to be eating, like my mate Ricky, this is his religion, right? He goes to Spurs, he meets his dad, because this is when he sees his dad, right? Like, you know, as you grow up, it's often football's an excuse to see your parents and that, or brothers or whatnot. And he'll go into the fry-up, and they'll have the same fry-up every week. And then go to the same football match, same disappointment, same misery of following Spurs, and then drink all the beer. And you go, I'm just wondering what people's habits were in terms of eating, because pies at football stadiums, burgers, all that stuff is intrinsic to English football. It'd be interesting to know.
Oh no!
What?
Right. So people in the chat are now putting forward their thoughts. So West Brom brings his own sweets. That'll age badly, mate. I'll be honest. Be careful with that. Well, I do have. There is a lad who sits down from me who offers sweets, and it's a joy, but it's adult to adult. Do you know what I mean? If you get to I was chatting about this with.
Are you suggesting that West Brom Bob is a paedophile?
No, I'm saying it. I'm not currently. I hope not. I mean, at what age can you? I guess once you're an adult, you can become a paedophile. Is that how it works?
Yeah, I think if he's over 18. I think that he's at risk at being them, but I don't think just having a packet of Haribo makes immediately. But
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it could age badly if once you get 50, 60, and because you do go, oh, does everyone want one? And you've gone adult, but then the adult's brought his 5-year-old son, and you give him a sweet, and like as genuine and as lovely and as heartfelt as it should be seen, it can sadly be taken out of context. I'm just saying, be careful.
So I'm vigilant. I'm sensing dick-to-dick energy from West Brom Bob as he goes down the aisle of football.
Do you think so? To explain that for people that are new to the pod.
Well, obviously, when you
last year, I think.
At football aisle in aisles, in rows in football stadia, you have to get out sometimes, and obviously there's a row of people between you and the turnstile and the vomitory or the stairs. So they're not all going to pile out. So they take a step back, and you've got to make the decision: do you go arse the dick or dick to dick. And I think unanimously everyone says dick to arse because obviously you're facing away and it's less personal. If you're going face to face and going all the way along, it's a little bit more personal. You've made that choice.
Can you not go side? Can you go side and out?
You can go side. You can go side and point outwards. Yeah, I think that's probably
the best, isn't it,
for everybody?
Yeah, I thought it was a dick to dick guy there for a second, but I think it's a tap. It's a tap and look away. Tap and look away. Yeah,
it's the two ballons just like that.
Yeah,
just like that.
Tap. And you got to be careful with the tap as well because you don't want to be tapped like someone on our row is a little bit larger, and every bone in my body wants to tap him on his belly, but you can't do that apparently.
Well, if you're doing that with a packet of sweets, then questions should be asked.
yeah.
I'm more on the taking a packet of sweets to the football. It's not even as a kid. I didn't think I did that.
I like at least one packet of chewing gum, possibly two. I go. Sort of,
I know you're mad. Is this what are people's also not only the what food do you eat at football, but what are your weird little traits that you have when at football? Because James eating, no one needs 2 packets of chewing gums through 90 minutes.
I got through because we drew, and I'm really nervous these days. Spearmint extra chewing gum, and I'll get through. I got through about. I think I got through about 17 last week because we'd conceded, and if we're losing, I take it out and start again. So that's why that happened. But yeah, so hang on, there was a good comment here from I think it was Harry. So and actually, it could be we haven't had a ban for a while, but we might have to have a 1 week ban here. Harry Grimes, 37th minute, we send one of us to the chip stand to get a burger and chips for each of us. I hate your person that you send off. The guy when you go at 37 minutes.
Yeah, but Jim, you can't get a beer if you don't go.
I don't care. I don't care. Drink before, eat before. Really, it's a bit of a slog, and you're taking a bit of a risk if you want to get something at half time. But leaving with 7 minutes, possibly 9 minutes left of the first half, is ridiculous. 1 week back.
It's the culture. No, it's not
what's got leaving early and making everyone get up when the game's going on,
and getting back late. That's the, well,
I hate that as well.
You don't understand. You don't understand English football. Obviously, because not watching the game is almost as important as watching the game. How much time do you spend looking at the away fans, giving it some? Then you got to leave about 5 minutes. So that 37 is a bit early for me as well. But that's a bit much for me. But
so okay, wait, hang on, sorry. With all due respect, Jim, it's only Dartford. Okay, fair enough. Dartford, you could probably still keep an eye on the game. Fair, right, I take it back. 1 week ban rescinded. 1 week ban rescinded.
They don't really care about it.
Yeah. I think they're like the service at QPR is so stupid. Like they should be. I remember my mate Dom saying this once, where it's like they it should all be done kind of on apps, and you should be making it as easy as possible to spend money in a stadium. Like, so for the fact that there's these ridiculous queues and everything's not set up is you're throwing money away. You're throwing money away.
Yeah. Well, Spurs in the new stadium, we don't actually have that issue anymore because the beer just flies out. But yeah, in the old stadium, it's ridiculous. It was literally people unscrewing bottle caps one by one and giving them to people.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of people saying never eat at the football, never eat at half time. One person was saying gets a pre-match KFC. Interesting.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Packet of sweets and a cheeky smile. Just
where's my bombs? Fucking paedophile.
Yeah, stop saying that P word.
Is that demonetized now?
I can't say. I don't think it's going to help it. Let's say that. Anyway, what's an acceptable time to leave if you are getting the pints in? If you are getting the pints, it's got to be the person who sit closest to the aisle out of your group, and I would say anything before 42 is unacceptable to me.
Anything before 42, you're not getting back in time. Back in time for what?
Back in time for what? For the second half? Or like...
yeah. But the thing is, Jim, at Spurs, you go down, there's like huge plasma TVs everywhere. So it's like almost the view's better down in the...
Right. You might as well stay at home then.
That's not often what I do, to be honest.
No, fair point. Interesting. Let us know what you eat, what your eating rules are at the football. intrigued. SWJ, sorry. Ty from AFTV, this is a comment from last week I thought was good, is a controversial version of an eel. As soon as you think you've got him pinned down, he verbally squirms away in a slippery cloud of chaos. Trying to stay on topic and move logically from one point to the next is impossible. It's a great tactic when debating and arguably a kind of power move over your opponent. But morally, it's the verbal equivalent of Suarez's handball against Ghana in 2010 World Cup. 98 likes on that. I thought it was a good comment. And a final one I did want to touch on, get your thoughts on. You were talking about how Arsenal was so fearful of Spurs that they decided to cancel the North London derby, didn't they? A few people spoke about this. Jay Tevo, who is an OG, by the way. Jay Tevo, thank you for watching all the videos. I always see your name. I have the exact opposite opinion on the Arsenal situation. Loved it personally. It's like watching a whole football club complete a tactical foul when the striker is through. The old adage of, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying comes to mind. It's the whole club deciding to look at their rivals and say, nah, not today, and walk off. Complete lack of respect of Spurs and spitting, in their fans' faces for the wasting their time planning for the game. As a City fan, so he's not an Arsenal fan, from Manchester, I have no horse in the race between the two clubs, but to me, that's great. Knowing you're not good enough that day and just sacking it off to make sure the environment is more favourable to you. That's rivalry right there.
Obviously stinks of a City fan as well. Actually, no. Do you know what? Okay, whatever. I don't know what to say. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. You've got to turn up to play your games against your rivals. And if it was COVID based, fine, because lots of games got called off, and it would just be unfortunate. But it wasn't. That was it. So I get it. They were worming their ways, like similar to the eel analogy, the little eels worming their way out of a situation that they felt uncomfortable in. So it was a power play by Spurs just by showing up. We didn't even consider not showing up. But Arsenal were like, we can't play this. Look, we've got all of our players injured. So please get it called off Premier League. It's actually the biggest thing is using this.
My problem with it is
millions and millions of people died around the world. It's just add to that all of the people that have died at the hands of the armory that Arsenal Football Club come from. And yet people still proudly claim to be an Arsenal fan. Death merchants.
Death merchants. Very good. God, there's a new one. Another new one from you. My problem with it is the fact that you can't. What you're saying to me is that you can't say that Charlie Patino is a good player now. Because if you're saying like, oh no, we can't give these guys an opportunity, these young players, he's an exciting youngster for them who's actually really, really good. You can't go big on him and defend the cancellation.
There's a player called Charlie Patino who plays for Arsenal.
I think so, unless I'm getting his name wrong.
All right,
he's very young. Yeah, Charlie Patino. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. It's nonsense, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cowards.
Can you circle for football chat, please? Because I think we've got to stay on top of this football chat because we're doing too much of it. But I need a title.
Well, I think it'll be good to talk about Manchester City fans. Though I'm not sure if it's a if it's a title though, James.
Go on then. What would you like to talk? Well, I want to talk about Liverpool Man City and who is going to win the league. That feels like a strong title to me. So let's negotiate.
How about we do that, and then I towel it off with my opinions of Manchester City fans.
Okay, yeah, because you've had a bit of
a spiky week. Let's just say
discourse. Should we say
some healthy discourse on Twitter? Yes.
All right. The title race. Oh, I nearly vomited as I said it. There's a title race back on. The title race. Not a good vom. Not a fingers and mouth vom. Like a bad one. No, they are back in it, aren't they? They are back in it. They are back in it.
And it's better. And to be honest, you know how I felt. How I've made it abundantly clear over the years how difficult I find conversations and watching Liverpool. But do you know what? I want them out of the two, hands down, to win the league this year, and I'm
Wow.
100% hoping that they do it. I really am. So, like, everything I've said about Liverpool in the past, I'll take it all back in this moment. Right? I want Liverpool. Spurs can't do it, and no one else can do it. Out of the two, I want Liverpool to do it. I want Liverpool to win the league, and what Tottenham did for Liverpool, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Is create gives them a platform, and you know how much Liverpool love this. This is what we need to do, right? We need to win our game in hand, and then we need to beat them in the derby. And Liverpool live for this shit, this high pressured.
Yeah.
In the same way that we were talking about how difficult we find to just need to win. We need to win, and we hope we win. In these instances, as they've proven over the last few years, these group of players and this manager, they thrive in this scenario where they have to win.
Yeah,
this is what we need to do, so we will do it. And I can see them being top after the game against Man City. I can see them being top of the league. Can they beat, or is it level on points? What's the goal difference?
It'll be 3 points off and they'll need to play Man City if they beat Leeds tonight.
What's the goal difference saying?
It's pretty tight, I think, between the two of them. I can get it up here. That's such a good point, actually. And I think it's the same. You know, I was talking about it with QPR. It's difficult. It's much better being the sort of chasing pack, isn't it? And I think Liverpool in particular are better in that scenario than they are in being the Man City and dealing with the.
It's more difficult being that.
Yeah,
it's more
definitely
difficult being that. And actually, Manchester City are best placed to be that team as well. I would say.
Yeah,
it's so hard to be the leader and maintain it because of what they are and how good they are. That they probably are the best place to do it. But Liverpool now have the opportunity, and presuming they beat Leeds and then beat Man City, they'll be above them with goal difference as well. So, I guess it depends on this next game, but you expect them to win that one. But yeah, I mean, the goal difference as well is like, I think goal difference is always, people get annoyed about XG and things like that. I do always think goal difference is such a great barometer for like how good a team is. Like in particular, if you're winning some of these games, if you're often winning 1-0, 2-0, like it's fine margins, whereas these two are so far ahead. It's crazy. And the thing, it's amazing how just one signing for Liverpool, and they all of a sudden look like they've got this like outrageous amount of depth that I think previously we were always saying. The thing we were saying from the start was the first 11, yeah, but if they have a couple of injuries, then you'd be worried. But in terms of like the forward positions now, like Luis Diaz has come in, and they've got, if Salah wasn't there for the rest of the season, I mean, they would obviously fall off a little bit. But I would say any other player aside from him and Van Dijk, and they've got really, really competent replacements absolutely everywhere. Yeah,
and
that's every team could potentially be hampered by injury.
Yeah,
and there are every club has two players that are irreplaceable. So it's fine that Van Dijk and Salah are probably.
Do
those
Man City
two,
have those kind of players? Who's the two for Man City? Because they've basically won a title without De Bruyne, haven't they? So that's not the case. Maybe Diaz and Cancelo, maybe.
Cancelo's incredible. He's unreal, that geezer.
He is, but I think they'd still dominate games.
Maybe the Man City are the exception that proves a rule, because the system and Pep Guardiola. I mean, it'd be Pep, wouldn't it, if he came down with some sort of, I don't know. But he's the thing. So I think Manchester City, like I say, it's a different thing for them because Pep's such a genius that. And the way he's built it is that it's a system. It's less about the individuals. It's a system. Like Grealish can't even get into the team, so it's definitely not about the
Joe in the chat says Ederson. Ederson is probably a good shout. Yeah,
that is a good shout. Yeah, Ederson. I didn't forget about him, but it's a different conversation with Man City and Liverpool. So yeah, Liverpool, they're looking good.
Yeah,
and it's interesting. I mean, fundamentally. I'm coming from a place of bias and which club has irritated me the most recently, but why not? Liverpool can chase. It's much more interesting. Good for you, Jim. More thumbnails, more chat.
Yeah.
And
it's
you
not.
do,
It's not
regardless
an
of
easy
where-
set of games left, though. I will say that. Wow, that is really tough. Actually, their games.
if you like football,
Oof.
then you want there to be a title challenge, right? You want
Yeah, of
there
course.
to be narrative.
Yeah, definitely. I certainly do.
Do
Man
you-
City running away with it. Any team running away with it, but in particular,
Boring.
Man City running away with it again is incredibly boring.
It's also important that they don't do it. It's important that Man City don't just have a free hit at the league every year.
Yeah. The games here though, like West Ham going for Champions League, Brighton's always a tricky game. Arsenal going for the Champions League, Man United going for the Champions League. I mean, you should be beating Watford, Man City, Villa have fallen off a cliff. I don't know what's happened there. Merseyside derby, Spurs going for the Champions League as well. Wolves going for the Champions League as well, but might have run their race by that point. They play Wolves at the end of the season a lot. I swear they did that the other year. I
know it's sort of randomly generated, but it follows a model, doesn't it? It's like
big game in April.
Well, there's a finite. There always is a similar way of the fixtures coming out each season because obviously the geography and the rivals not crossing paths have to be taken into account every season. And because the majority of the teams are the same each season, you get a similar fixture list. Yeah. That's why. So Spurs and Arsenal typically, if they ever show up for another North London derby, would be in a November and February time.
Yeah. I hope there is another North London derby. It'd be really I really love watching it. So it'd be a real shame if we never saw another North London derby.
And talk to them. We're ready to play it at any time.
Yeah.
Email the club or something. Yeah. Hopefully, maybe you saying how much you enjoy the game will give them some bollocks to turn up. I don't know.
Email the club.
Yeah, go and email. What's his name?
Yeah,
Cronky. I'm sure he gives a shit.
Pick up the phone. Ollie Sage, my guy. Are we not turning into La Liga a bit though, with only 2 real challenges? No, not at all.
It's only a time.
Yeah.
It's just cyclical.
It is.
It won't always be Liverpool, and it will always be Manchester City as long as their investment remains.
Because I think that's because if you were saying that, then Chelsea would be better than be closer than they are. I think it's the fact that
I've forgotten to put my charger in my laptop.
Oh dear. He could go at any time. Yeah, I just don't think it is as well. And in terms of the spread of money, the difference between the Premier League, importantly, is the fact that the Premier League has such a monopoly, but they have such a large chunk of or more money. They're so much more affluent than the other leagues that at this moment in time, whilst they have that, they are able to pick off. There's a much bigger talent pool for them because they've got so much money. They can buy the best players from all these other leagues, and there's only so many players. And with that in mind, that means that the quality of all of the leagues, like Wout Weghorst, him being at Burnley feels odd to everyone, but they've got the money to do it. So there's, you have quality teams up and down the league, and so there will be moments where it changes. I do think that these two teams, and Man City don't get enough credit actually, but or the squad that's there, because wait, because there is, yes, they've spent a lot of money. I get that, but the football that they play, generally, aside from the game against Spurs, is outrageous. And there's spending the money and putting together a lot of good components, and then there's the level of football that they play and the effort that they put in. And I think it's mad. So I think you've just got 2 mad teams right now.
You've got two managers, effectively. It's all about how good your manager is and how good you can keep him for. How long can you keep him for? You saw what Liverpool were before Klopp turned up, and you saw what Manchester City were, even with the money, before Pep Guardiola turned up. And that's not to say they weren't winning things. They did amazing stuff. They won the league under Pellegrini and Mancini, I think. But they weren't there all the time. They weren't certainly playing at the level they have done under Pep Guardiola. So when Klopp leaves, inevitably he will, no one will be able to replicate what he has done. It would be amazing. It would be a miracle if you find, doesn't matter who it is, besides Pep Guardiola, I think, that would be able to create a dynasty and a legacy period. Klopp will go down as one of the greatest managers ever in Liverpool's history. To replace that with someone like Ten Hag you're expecting a lot for to get the same out of him.
And we've seen it. You see it time and again when that like talismanic figure who has had success leaves. It is it's very close to impossible to get to those same standards, and the storylines are so different. That's the problem.
Also because they are the club in that moment. They are the club. They run everything. They are the most important person at the football club. If you take away the figurehead and the ideas and the inspiration that he gives to other people and the attitude that he brings out in people and the level of excellence he expects from everybody, which doesn't come overnight, then the new guy comes in, as good as he is, has obviously different ideas. He has every idea. Ten Hag, it feels like Ten Hag naturally is going to end up at Liverpool for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, you think Liverpool? Oh, really? Is it not Gerrard's though? Isn't Gerrard going to it?
That would be mad. No, it'd be romantic. It would be lovely for Liverpool fans for the first 6 months because they've got Gerrard at the helm. I don't think it's a good idea. Not yet.
I agree.
But there needs to be a manager between Klopp and Gerrard as well.
I asked this question on ESPN, and I thought we didn't really have the time to really dive into it, but Tuchel has done a really good job in terms of, going into quite strange situations, like taking over from Klopp, but also like the PSG job where the expectations are huge, the egos are huge, all of that stuff. And then Chelsea, kind of similar, and obviously very, very ruthless club as well. Could Klopp go into PSG or Chelsea and have the same success and like build it how he would want to?
A great question. PSG, I would say no, because you got Leonardo there who, how they keep him there and why they keep him there is beyond me. I don't know what he does. Maybe he's the one that
he's got something on someone, isn't he? I think.
Maybe he's the guy that gets the players in, who convinces them. He must have some amazing skill that we're unaware of, because he just seems to fall out with every manager that he has. So for that reason, I don't think Klopp. That's not the best fit for him. I don't think he would ever choose to do that.
That's it. That was what the answer from Hugh was, like, he would never take those jobs. But that's kind of not my question as well. Could he firefight? Yeah, those kind of situations. I'm not sure he could. I think his personality would, without the same kind of not gravitas, but like dominance in terms of the decisions and the fact that he is so at the top of that.
It has to be.
Of that club in Liverpool. Could he do the same at PSG? I think it'd be.
I think PSG and Chelsea's circumstances are different for Klopp as well. They're not the same. It's a good question though, because it's such a difficult job for any manager to keep. But I think he would be able to build an incredible career at Chelsea, for the reason that Abramovich bringing him in will know what he's got there, and know that if he's bringing him in, that Klopp has to be the main guy. Whether that leads to another question, is whether Abramovich would ever relinquish such power when it's clear that Abramovich is the guy at Chelsea. And that's fine for him to be that, because look at all the amazing things that he's given and continues to give to the Chelsea managers. What do you want? Okay, we'll buy him. That's a manager's dream, right? Whereas Klopp's thing is, I think, it's more systemic than just buying the best players. He needs to be that. And it's so he should, because of look at what an amazing career as a coach he's had thus far.
I would say this sounds a bit sycophantic, but I do think that it clearly matters to him, and it is a big factor in creating the success, because it greases the wheels a lot. Having quite a sort of, if you like it or not, sort of wholesome, romantic club and scenario to be within, and he has that had that at Dortmund, and he has that with Liverpool. That would be the problem for me with him, who someone does get irritable and does is a bit much at times. Like, it still totally works at Liverpool, but would it work? I don't know what his next club is. I think I wonder if the next thing is. That's what's going to be weird for him. I feel like I don't know what his next road is, because
we know he can make that leap, can't he? Because we know he done it from Dortmund, and he came from a difficult period at Dortmund. This season before he left, or it might have been in the actual season. The end he left, they were bottom at Christmas, which was crazy.
Yeah, I remember.
And he managed to get him around and bring him into. I think he qualified for Europe that year. I'm not sure.
Yeah, just.
But so he can make transition from one massive club to another. It's just choosing the right club for him. It's hard to visualize him anywhere else. Really.
That's it. Yeah, that's what I mean. I think the Germany job again has that similar like romance, but aside from that, it then becomes quite tricky
Not
for him, and for him to have the same hunger as well, because he obviously will want to be, once he's tasted Champions League and things like that, like you're going to struggle to kind of get around it. Atletico Madrid, maybe. That's not a terrible shout. That's not a terrible shout at all.
Yeah, that is. And sort of that they've got that in Simeone already. That kind of manager he's the be all and end all. And going into it is Atletico Madrid.
QPR.
They are the next team, aren't they? There is a journey for them, even though they've been really successful in the last 10 years. There's still that journey to become.
To finally secure that Champions League. Yeah. Exactly. Maybe that's the next job then.
But also just to dominate over the two. I'd love to see that over because I really hate Real Madrid and Barcelona. I hate, that's ridiculous. I don't spend enough time thinking about them to hate them. I just don't like the Spanish model, and I don't like Barcelona and Real Madrid. I don't like how they're spoken about as like the clubs of world football. The clubs, the El Clasico, and it's like. They're financially doped their way, so it's impossible pretty much for anybody to overtake them. That to me is sickening. So, and the way that sports broadcasters just absolutely splurge their load over them every single time you talk about them. It's like I remember the conversation about Barcelona. Oh, isn't it sad? Look at Barcelona.
Yeah,
fuck off. It's not sad. It's justice. It's exactly what should be happening.
Well, it's not adhering to the rules and the rules being strong. That's what it was.
It's not adhering to the rules that are already in your favour.
Yeah.
You've already got all the cards, and you're like, that's not enough.
Yeah, I need 5 aces. Well, I've only got 4 aces here. Can I have 5?
Only 4...
Well, no, you can't have 5 because it makes the whole competition ridiculous. But I want 5 aces.
And I'm going to do it in secret. I'm going to get another pack of cards and I'm going to add a couple more aces to my pack.
Well,
it's sad. Oh, it's sad. Fuck them. But yeah, so it'd be good just to see Jurgen Klopp go over to Aston. But I'm sure Liverpool fans are going, fuck, can you stop talking about Klopp leaving? Like, I hate it.
He's got to leave at some point now.
2024, his contract is up, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
is it 24? He's only got a couple of years left.
Probably renews.
I do want to hear briefly your thoughts on Man City fans because have you had great victory. What a victory! 6 goals, 5 on target, 3 goals. Efficient.
Also, one goal offside, which I think should have stood. But yeah. We should have beaten them. We should have been 3-1 up at that point. Kane had an excellent opportunity as well when he shot at Ederson, where we played through their entire team. It wasn't a counter attack. It was a systematic build up of pressure. So look, my issue is I was watching. Obviously, when you have a victory like that, you watch the reactions to YouTubers, like any good wholesome content that you need to find. Let's find the despair in human beings, and there was a Manchester City fan that described Spurs, and it's fine. Like some people might believe this to be true, and it's the fact that it came from a Man City fan which made it particularly irritating. I hate it when shit football clubs come to Manchester City and play counter-attacking football. So because of what they've been given in terms of this endless supply of cash, every other football club, regardless of their stature in the game, if they don't come out and try and play against Pep Guardiola, is a shit football club. And so I didn't think this would resonate with people that much. I just tweeted it as a throwaway thing, and I come back and there's like it's blown up a little bit because I think like it's how a lot of fans of other football clubs are feeling about Manchester City and the way their fans conduct themselves. There is an elitism about them when they have absolutely zero right to be an elitist. No football club does, in my opinion. So, yeah, and obviously I touched the nerve because I've had Man City fans in my mentions, and I didn't think that they're particularly salty. Maybe.
So what did you say then?
I can read it out. I can't remember word for word. It was. I can read it out. It's not a problem. I've watched.
To read it out. You're okay. You're okay.
Yeah, you're ready for this. I watched some Manchester City fans describe Tottenham as some shit team that plays counter-attacking football. I remember them being much more humble and decent when they weren't funded by a nation state. That's all I said. I remember Manchester City fans, I remember them being like, plucky and supported their club. But now you just got a wave of these people who were just like, we've got all the money, we're going to be cunts. Sorry, fuck your money again.
So,
but and that's fine. Look, I'm making that observation. That's not offensive. I'm just saying this is my observation of the change in Manchester City fans since they got the money. Right, money does change people generally for the worst. But I'm not inviting you to then come in my DMs and attack me.
That's a provocative tweet, though. You couldn't even get a sentence out. That's hilarious. Nah, I mean, look, good luck to you. I think the one thing I would say is like having a go at counter-attacking football. I mean, every team that plays against Man City, aside from probably Liverpool, has to play that way.
Even Manchester, even
Chelsea stank out the place, like just trying to hang in there and sneak a goal. So like it's the symptom of it's a symptom of having this is what you have to contend with. You've got all the money, you've got the best managers, you've got the best players, so you can't expect people to just come out and go, all right, go on then, play how you like. And the fact is that we had the better chances than they did. The victory was deserved. They had the possession. They passed it around a lot. They went back left to right, kept going left to right. Get it, Cancelo, let him shoot. But that was it, right? Their goal came from a spill from Lloris, who shouldn't be doing that. Goes to Gundogan and he puts it in. Fine. Our goal came from a counter-attack and
play.
A penalty, I guess.
And the penalty, which was a penalty, obviously, It was unfortunate because he was out of control because he was just doing everything he can to block the ball, but it was unfair because it gave us an advantage and he hit his arm. So the penalty was given, but that was it, right? Our chances significantly more, you'd say likely for the ball to go in, apart from the pen. So it's and the two we scored one goal in the final 94th minute, where if you watch it back, Jim, I'm not sure if you have, because you just, obviously people concentrate, there were like 10 passes where we passed through Manchester City completely.
Yeah,
passed through their press. The ball, obviously, because they were they thought they were going to score and score again, because there were 7 minutes left. And then they left Kulusevski in acres of space, and the ball was played over to him, and obviously he cut in cross and Kane scored. But the play before that was fantastic, and the play up until the point where Son put Kane through and hit the ball straight at Ederson where he could have scored. That was on the back of a 15 pass move.
Yeah.
So it's just easy and lazy observations from Manchester City fans when they just say, "Oh, well, everyone's played counter attack against us." When against Spurs, actually, there are multiple times when you got done when it was nothing to do with counter attack football.
Okay.
And this is a Spurs team that's just been beaten by...
All right, shut up. Stop. You got the victory. Just shush.
Mate, I had one of the worst weeks following Spurs ever. I've just been beaten by Southampton and Wolves. I'm not allowed to talk about it now.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm sure you have spoken about it this week. Right.
I didn't. I haven't.
I need to talk about week chat now. Right, let's move on. Football chat over. Done. Enough of that. Christ.
Oh, this is going to be fun. WhatsApp's Twitter's going to pop off again.
Get in the comments. I'll read it out next week, guys. Let us know your thoughts. One quick comment from someone. Who was it? Pierre says, Man City fans give off NFT bro vibes. Or energy, sorry. I'm not saying that. Tough being a Man City fan, isn't it? In terms of where, like, how you're supposed to be.
Absolutely not. Okay. Don't be an arsehole.
Okay, there you go. Rule 1.
Rule 1, don't be a prick.
Yeah. Week chat. This is interesting. I've got some good week chat this week. So for those who don't know, week chat is things you've heard on the terraces that have just cringed you out and just been disappointing. Bertie Munn, can there be a discussion on what you should do if you attempt to start a chant at the match and nobody joins in? What is the correct protocol? Do you firm it and complete the chant on your own, or do you stop mid-chant and sulk?
We've all been there.
Tough.
We've all been there as well.
We've all been there, yeah. And also when like sometimes when like the vibe is good and people like it's strong, right? And you're thinking, all right, well I'm going to get involved as well, and then you do one and it's like, and it doesn't catch, and then someone else starts one. You're like, well, fucking hell, I've just started one over here.
It's often the tone. Like, to answer his question, there's somewhere between where it kind of
it sort of dies out. But do not. The one thing you cannot do is quit mid-sentence. now chants are obviously by nature very repetitive, but you can't go, we're the great... Can't do that. You've got to get to the end of the sentence, even if it is like tapering down. You've got to get to the end of the sentence. We've got a father and son in front of us. A father and son in front of us. Very quickly, I'll say that we had a player who actually had to go off. He was a goalkeeper for Hull. There's 50 minutes added time because he was down and they were looking after him, and he got stretchered off, and I think he got knocked out. And he was down for ages, and this lad. This bloke went, he's fine, get up, get him. And I was, because I went, is he knocked out? Because he was like face down. And he was, he's fine. And then you could see after 15 minutes, he obviously wasn't fine. But like after about 30 minutes, he went, oh, look, the physio and this is the QPR physios had to come up to give like extra physio help. Is chatting to one of the players and they sort of laughed for a second. And he went, look, it can't be that bad. It can't be that bad if he's laughing with his mate. And I was like, I said to the group around us though, I was like, he's doubled down. I was like, Graham.
Stop,
Ali. Yeah,
it's doubled down. You got to respect it to some degree. What? Was he okay?
Yeah, I think he's okay. But he like it was obviously a problem.
Was it a clash of heads or something?
He went back post. He went to jump and get it, and then fell awkwardly. But yeah, he doubled down. I was just like, okay, yeah, but you better hope he's all right. Like, I think he probably will be all right. But is it worth it? I'm just not sure it's worth it. But anyway, these two are very good in the sense that they will do. They're big fans of the managers, Blue Army. And with that one, often it will calm down when it fade, and then there'll be one or two that will stick with it, and those are the two. And there is a bit of a power move actually. They kind of just stick with it for a while, and then it goes. Then 3 or 4. That's good.
That's good. Especially if you have a chance on goal or something. It's going. Yeah, that's the sort of stuff I missed. Like I used to. Do you know what? Where I think where it changed. Where I didn't enjoy going to football as much as I used to, is there was this spot in the old White Hart Lane, and for those that don't know, we had two tiers. Well, we had two tiers essentially, and underneath, just the lip of the top tier, there'd be a pack of about 100 people, and all of the energy would be coming out of that little small pack because it was underneath. You could just it would reverberate much more. It was just louder under there, and then that mainstay that Blue Army, Blue Army, it would feed out, and then it would get sucked back into this little group again. And being in that little group was one of our happiest places. And then obviously with the new stadium, things changing, it just changed everything. So it's unfortunate, but in order to answer the question though, in terms of the reasons why some people are allowed to start chants and others aren't, I think often it comes down to the tone of the voice.
Vibrato.
If it's the correct. You have to have quite a deep voice, and it needs to bellow. You got to command the crowd. Basically, you're in that instance. You are the composer, and if you attack it and your voice is squeaky or youthful or a bit high pitched, you got no chance. Unfortunately.
So yeah, just be careful out there.
In this new woke world, that shouldn't be the way. But a football terrace, it takes a bit of catching up to do.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to dominate a group of proper alpha male men.
Yeah. That's it. There needs to be, because say you hear one person do it, they have to either have to be established within that stand, or if they are new, you're going to have a look, like on a way, you're going to have a look. And if they have got tattoos or they are over 6 foot, or if they look scary, you'll go.
And also, and also the the dynamic of the football state, the crowd has changed as well now. Like, and it's essentially the advent of the Premier League and Sky Sports, which sanitized the football crowds, and there's some part of football culture should have been sanitized.
Yeah.
And racist chanting, homophobic stuff, and obviously fighting at football and all that stuff isn't great if you just want to go and watch football and not be offended, right? But it made it much more sort of sedentary, and you'd end up with pretty poor atmosphere at a lot of grounds. And it's a way to combat that. We set up at Spurs this 1882 movement thing, which is just, if you want to sing and don't want to feel stupid by trying to start a song, then we are going to sit together over here, and as long as it's not an absolutely, horrendously shit chant, everyone's going to be backing it because that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah,
and it was successful. It's just impossible to do. But that's part of the problem where.
Maybe safe standing could provide that in time.
Even more difficult, though, isn't it? Even more difficult now than it was then. You've got to be pretty bold to stand up and start a chant.
Yeah. A couple more good ones here. First is a quickfire one. Tom Hurdis, I was once running with the ball and had a parent shout, "Vaccinate him!" at me.
What?
This was about 15 years ago, so it didn't have the pandemic connotations. Just genuinely confused me. Vaccinate him. What the hell? Matt Illingworth, week chat. I'm bringing this up because this is from QPR Blackpool. I'm hoping that's good vibes. Week chat. A few months ago, this is good. I was sat in the Armfield stand at Bloomfield Road, to the left of the goal, watching the mighty Blackpool play James's beloved QPR. We'd had the ball in the net only for it to be wrongly disallowed for offside, so the fans around me were already annoyed. A few minutes later, Ilias Chair made a brilliant run towards the box, but the move seemed to fizzle out as Chair stopped and passed the ball to a stationary Willock on the edge of the box. The thought process that the worst thing that could happen would be if Willock was able to get into the box and pull it back for one of the attackers caused me to shout, "Hit it!" as it would be easier for the defence to deal with. To my horror, and almost in slow motion, Willock cut onto his right, gliding past the right back and unleashed the perfect finish into the top corner. The kid in front of me just turned and glared at me, soul destroying. Yeah. So he looks like an away fan in the home end, but he's actually a home fan. He shouted, "Hit it!" That's
fantastic.
That's a disaster.
That's fantastic.
We've got more week chat, but we'll save it for next week because we need to be doing our mailbag as well. Unwritten rules. I did tease this, so I will read it out. With unwritten rules, we want you to get them in the comments. It's things that generally happen. The first and golden unwritten rule is what, Flav?
Is if you're champions of Europe, you cannot complain about the owners of your football club.
Ethan Shrapnel thinks otherwise. He's given this a good go, and as you know what I like about this, he's gone. And this is what Football Opinion's about, is angles. What's your angle? How are you going to frame this? I think he's given it a go. I believe there is a discourse from Chelsea fans with regard to the board. I believe if there is discourse from Chelsea fans with regard to the board, it's born from fear of Tuchel becoming the fall guy. We are incredibly fortunate to have an owner like Abramovich, and I wouldn't trade him for anyone in the world. But the level of investment is not only the first team, but the infrastructure at Man City is incomparable, and they have everyone pulling in the same direction as Pep. The idea of beating them to the league with our current philosophies seems very reliant on City regressing, yet Tuchel will have nothing less expected of him, which is sad. He is the perfect manager for Chelsea, and we simply don't want to lose him because we know the metaphorical managerial grass won't be greener on the other side. We've seen more of it than most. Anyways, up the Sluggies. A good try, and I welcome more Chelsea fans to give it a go. Can you somehow convince us to erase the first rule of unwritten rules, which is that if you are champions of Europe, you cannot have a go at your board? But yes. Ethan's saying they just want to keep Tuchel. This is the thing that they're concerned about.
I wouldn't be obsessed with Tuchel. Not that he's a very good manager and whatnot. Won the Champions League. It's fantastic. But what Chelsea fans also have to take into account is that Abramovich, you aren't that big club. Not a big club, sorry. You aren't the financial powerhouse in the Premier League anymore. You're third. So for you to expect to compete with Manchester City every year is unreasonable because Abramovich hasn't built the infrastructure, hasn't put his money into Chelsea in that way. But then he isn't a nation state. He's one man with a lot of money.
So he's saying that they're annoyed that they're not spending as much money as Man City.
Yeah, but they spent £100 million. It's because Lukaku isn't working out, right? That's not on Abramovich. That's on Tuchel. But everyone's blaming Lukaku.
Yeah. Well, I think it's on Lukaku as well. A little.
It's on Lukaku as well. But for whatever reason, that move to Chelsea isn't working out. But it's certainly not Abramovich's fault.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think they've given enough money for strikers over the years. Anyway, nice try.
It's like I said. It's like Tuchel is not. Why would he? He's not going to look at the job and go, do you know what? I'm not being supported here. I've got to go. What would be Tuchel's... Tuchel will be sacked. He will be sacked. He won't make the decision to leave because he hasn't delivered.
Yeah, do you know what comes? He sat down feeling really sorry for himself. And Kepa Arrizabalaga, who cost 70 million, who's the number 2 goalkeeper for Chelsea. And Timo Werner, who also cost 70 million and is the number 4 striker for Chelsea, walk over and go, what's wrong, Tom? He goes, I'm just not being backed, am I? We're not bringing in the quality. They're not investing in the club.
I'm not backed. I haven't been backed. So, look, if your frustrations, if Chelsea fans' frustrations cannot, and the rule stands, cannot be aimed at Abramovich, or Tuchel for that matter, he just won you the Champions League. Surely, and you're third in the league now.
We'll draw a line under it here, but Matthew Blake has just said in capital letters, net spend. Whoa!
But it's not.
Interesting. No. Next thing. Another quick unwritten rule. Mitchell 23. When opposition fans call for a handball which isn't given, your entire fan base have to shout handball every time someone touches the ball for the next 2 minutes. That is available. I'll also chuck in another unwritten rule with handballs is that you shout handball, and then when it's not given, you shout handball higher.
Yeah, I like it when someone you claim for a handball, but you're in a winning position, and then every time you the opposition touches the ball, they put a ball in, may have hit the arm, hits the chest, whatever, and the away fans are apoplectic, and they're like handball, we're on a penalty, and then every touch later, the rest of the home fans are going handball.
Yeah, for the next 2 minutes. Yeah,
so annoying.
That's a good rule. Yeah, a good one that. Samism, a quick Samism. Ben Tolhurst. This is good, actually. Well, there's 2, actually. I'm going to save one. I'm going to save one for next week. Ben, I'm going to save yours, all right? Hugo Holm, great Samazon by a commentator at the Olympics. This is going to be a real nerve biter. Ooh, can you imagine? Biting your nerves. That'd be horrible. Yeah,
that's terrible.
It's probably actually quite good. And finally, we haven't got footballers' wangs. I've got a power move, which I'm going to save for the mailbag. So should have become a slug, shouldn't you? Become a slug quickly, and I won't bring it up again. But this is an odd thing. It's not footballers' wangs, but you made some comments about how a theory on how I like to go to the toilet last week. I don't know if you remember this.
No.
Yeah, you said.
Oh yeah, you'd bring your I
bring it all together. For some reason.
On top of your legs.
Yeah, this. I mean, I don't really want to talk about this, but I feel like there's stuff to unpack here. So I'll just read it all out, and then you can pick it apart.
Go on.
Callum with 2 L's. I kid you not, that story at the end about Jim's wang hanging over the toilet happened to me. My mate owns his old grand's house now because she passed, and they have a really old-fashioned, out-of-date toilet. Out of date.
Sort of old, yeah.
Yeah. The water inside the bowl is so high. I'm a fan of a sit-down piss, brackets manly/power move. First time I went round, my balls got splashed with water when I flushed. I want to come back to that. The first time I went round, the balls got splashed with water when I flushed. Didn't enjoy it. From then onwards, when I go for a big one, I sit with my manhood out the bowl like Flav suggested and Jim perfectly described. All All went wrong, though, after my 5th visit. I sat down and got the pillar and stones comfortably arranged to knock out a heavy one. What a sentence. I got the pillar and stones comfortably arranged to knock out a heavy one. Totally forgot where I was hanging and pissed all over my jeans and subsequently his nana's old bathroom floor. I cleaned up with the toilet paper and took my jeans off. The guy he was with still doesn't know it happened. I just said I was melting and needed to cool down. So he's pissed on his jeans. I presume I hope this is in the summer. I hope he's not saying I need to cool down. He's then come out with no jeans on and gone, yeah, I'm just a bit hot, whilst chilling out in his pants. And he thinks that the guy believes that he's just gone, yeah, I was just really hot, so I'm going to just take my jeans off for a bit. No. And
Unreal.
Yeah, the other thing for me was his balls got splashed with water when I flushed. Do you not flush afterwards? Do you not get up then flush?
So the comments are popping off at the moment while you was reading that. Harry Graham's been flushing while on the loo.
Thank you.
Ben M said a sit-in flush. What the fuck?
Yeah,
Ryan Couch says OMG. Joe went stand up. Ryan Couch says awful, awful, awful. Ryan Couch also says DIY B-Day.
Very odd. Very odd indeed.
Water getting splashed up.
Super quickly, super quickly. Max Fielding, something that needs to be acknowledged. Whilst talking about sitting on the toilet, James asked whether this was after a wee. Usually I will sit on the toilet if my intentions are to combine a 2 and a 3 into the same session. However, I occasionally will just sit to piss if I'm simultaneously consuming content on my phone. Yeah, we'll come back to it. The sitting piss is an act that is unspoken of by men, frowned upon in society, so much so that I have commented this from an alternative account, which I don't believe that because it's his name, Max Fielding. I guess what I'm looking for is a potential admission from James, followed by some intense gaslighting by Flav. Love the pod that I do sit down wheeze. I prefer a sit down wee if I've got the time, and I think we've been very open about that on this podcast. More importantly, I don't think that's something to get sort of bogged down in. No pun intended. What I'm confused with is I will sit on the toilet if my intentions are to combine a 2 and a 3 into the same session. What's a 3?
I think we know what 3 is, don't we?
One's a wee, two's a poo.
Yeah, what else happens down there? I mean, it shouldn't be. They should not be connected. It should be completely different.
Come
on, use your imagination. What could a 3 be?
Well, I was thinking 3 would be like what else comes out. So like, I was thinking it's being sick would be a 3.
No,
but
not in my head. Maybe it's just my warped mind.
Oh god! So what?
You know what it is? I think Daniel Mandich is.
He's having a large debate with himself.
It's. I think they're. If you look at the comments, everything's starting to click.
Right. Well, let's talk about this. We'll talk about this next week, but also talk about this in the mailbag now. For those of you watching, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, become a moisty. Links in the description. Chat's going mad. I've also in the mailbag. I've got a tweet from someone, and it's showcasing 2 slugs having sex. So we're going to be watching that on the mailbag. So what are you waiting for? Join us on the mailbag. We'll see you next time. Right, we'll carry on, guys. We'll do the mailbag now.
All right, I need a wee, if that's all right.
Oh, yeah? You sure? Just a wee, is it?
Yeah.
You're not having a 1-3, is he? Is that possible? Probably not.